And you're welcome. Let's get started with the stories for today. Now, from last week, on Thursday, a River State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt granted an order of interlocutory injunction restraining Martins Amawale and 24 other lawmakers from parading and holding themselves as members of the River State House of Assembly. Now, the court, presided over by Justice C.N. Wali, also issued an interlocutory injunction against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and State Attorney General of River State and the Chief Judge of River State, who are the 26th to 28th defendants in the suit. They are restrained from dealing with, interfacing, or accepting any resolution, bill, or other actions from Amawale and the 24 others.
Now, Justice Wali ruling on a suit filed by the Speaker of the River State House of Assembly, and that's Victor Okojumbo, Sakari Goodboy, and Adolfo Timothy. Now, as claimants they refrained Amawale and the 24 others from sitting in the auditorium of the House of Assembly's quarters or at any other place to carry out any legislative functions of the River State House of Assembly. Now, to this end, the court declared the suits or the sits of Amawale and the 24 others vacant pending the hearing and determination of the substantive suit. Now, the matter was adjourned to 1st July 2024 for a motion hearing.
Now, joining us to discuss the implications of this interlocutory injunction against the governor and the declaration of vacant seats in the House, we have Mr. Ikenga Chibike, APC Spokesperson, River State, and of course, Mr. Sogbeye Eli, River State legal practitioner. You're welcome, gentlemen. Good to have you here.
Thanks for all the
Thank you so much.
My name is Sogbeye Eli.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, Mr. Eli, I'm coming to you first. Let's ask, please, can you first explain the legal significance of the injunctions granted to the granted by Justice C.N. Wali? What exactly are the immediate effects of this injunction on the 25 lawmakers, and especially for the governor himself, Siminalayi Fubara?
Good morning, Nigeria. I think the immediate significance of that is a pronouncement of the judge of the High Court is law itself. In fact, for the realist school of law, one would discuss jurisprudence, beginning from the likes of Justice Oliver, one of the homes of the U.S. Supreme Court. They say the pronouncements of the judges are nothing more pretentious. Is a law. In other words, what Parliament enacts on paper is not law until a judge breathes life into interpreting that section of the law or an entire law. So the pronouncements of the judge are to be taken as the law until the higher court, by that I mean the court with the higher jurisdiction, pronounces otherwise on the same subject. So as it stands today, what the Lord, the Honorable Justice Charles N. Wali of the High Court of River State has pronounced regarding declaring the vacancy, declaring the seats of those 5 or 27 lawmakers vacant is a law until the appeal court speaks otherwise as a law. Until the judge himself, in taking the matter, a member is adjourned for
I'm in a Zoom meeting.
Yes, until he sets aside himself when he has a substantive matter. That's the question of the law right now. They are not members of the House of Assembly as it stands.
So what are the implications for the vacuum that these 25 seats now create? Or although that they've been in this conflict for the past almost 1 month, there has been a vacuum. How is that affecting legislature in River State currently?
It cannot. And before I make that point, let me also say that the order of court binds even on the governor, as you see, even the CGA, there are 25th, at least 26 to 28 defendants from howsoever receiving anything from the other 25. However, with regards to your question on vacancy, there is no vacancy. You may want to please turn your attention to section 102 of the Constitution to see for yourself whether or not the vacancy does exist. It does not exist. The members of the Assembly today are 3 in number. The current Chief of Staff, Government House, Edson here have resigned his membership of the House. The vacant portion, the only vacant portion by that resignation that is known to law is his resignation. Others voted with their own feet out of the House. Now, there's nowhere the Constitution contemplated a situation where lawmakers voluntarily on their own vacate their seats by breaking Section 109 sub 1G, and that suddenly the House of Assembly will go in complete abeyance or shut down because some people left the House on their own. The remainder of the House constitutes membership of the House of Assembly because they have no legal encumbrance. So if you look at Section 102 of the Constitution, it says whatever they do shall not be invalidated on account of that vacancy that they identify until such a time when INEC will deem it fit and proper to conduct by-elections or fresh elections as it were, to fill those seats to represent other constituencies like mine, whose member has voted with his feet to leave the House, in contravention of Section 109 sub 1G.
Mr. Ikenga Chibike, let me come to you and ask this. As a representative of the APC, how is the APC planning to respond to the recent court ruling that restrains its 25 lawmakers, many of whom are now affiliated with the APC? And just to add to that, what strategic moves could the party consider in light of this development?
Excuse me. Thank you very much. And thank you, Nigerians, for listening and watching. Yeah, I can see the excitement in my colleague who you introduced as a legal practitioner in Rivers State. He is a legal practitioner, but he is also a member of the Governor Fubara's team. He is a member of their team, so he shouldn't feign any neutrality. He should be very open to say that that's what he's advocating for. So having taken that position, the excitement I've seen in him is because all the analysis he had drawn are to placate his interest and the interest of his team. Having said that, Rivers State is undergoing some serious tumultuous situations by the activities of the governor who procures court orders and judgments to ambush a legally and constitutionally instituted Rivers State House of Assembly under the leadership of Right Honorable Martin Sambehuli. Yes, we are aware that Justice Wali had a few days ago delivered what he called an interlocutory order. And he did that when there is pendency at the Court of Appeal. His actions have been challenged at the Court of Appeal. When he gave his order, we challenged it. And then he went ahead to give the order on the interlocutory. All those matters which he had addressed had already been addressed by Justice Omotosho, wherein Justice Omotosho gave a judgment, and judgment is superior to an interlocutory order. And the judgment Justice Omotosho gave granted legality and constitutionality to the Right Honorable Martin Sambehuli-led assembly. And to this day, it has not been vacated. However, these matters have all been consolidated at the Court of Appeal. And in the next few days, we will know what the position is. And the Court of Appeal is a superior court, and when decision is taken, either way, we now know where we stand. But as we speak, all the decisions have been taken by Justice Wali and some of his cohorts who have become appendages to the executive under Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Rivers people are watching, and we shall resist legally, constitutionally, all such actions that are not in tandem with the whims and caprices of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria's amendment.
Now, Mr. Eli, I noticed that earlier on, as Mr. Chibike was giving his response, you seem to be shaking your head. Do you want to reply to some comments he made earlier?
I'm actually gutted by the recklessness of my friend and my brother. First, he would want to paint me with a political tar brush. Yes, I'm a politically exposed person. In fact, I was elected as the pioneer state unity of the APC, that today he sits as an impostor, having been appointed ultra-advisor of constitution. That is a matter of sub judice. I'm not coming further on that. His appointment has been challenged in court. But having said that, I'm also shocked that he could use those kind of despicable words on the Honorable Justice Wali, and then they call his brother judges cohorts. I think that for the purpose of having a decent conversation here, let's exercise decorum. Before the world, this is an international television station or on satellite TV, the world is watching. We cannot be watch our dirty linens in public. And as a lawyer, I take strong exceptions to any non-lawyer addressing the judiciary in such contemptuous manner. I haven't said that. Maybe let me also clear his doubts. The pendency of an appeal on an issue on an interim order or any matter does not necessarily serve as a stay of proceedings in the court below. Maybe he doesn't know that. Justice Wali granted an interim order upon a motionless party. That's the one that appealed against. And asked him that is appealing, what's his grounds for appealing? He is not a party in the suit, so what does he know about it? The 27 lawmakers that had that have a grounds of appeal. Does he have one? Does he have a locus? He doesn't have. It speaks to what he was told. Now, the judge adjourned the matter to hear the interlocutory application, which, of course, are granted. No matter what happens to the appeal court will not tell him that the judge acted out of jurisdiction. Nowhere in the law does it say that when the matter is on appeal or a ruling, an appeal is on a ruling, on an interim or interlocutor, that the court below must cease fire until there's an express order from the court above. No appeal starts as automatic stay. I should clear his doubt. As for the issues, he made reference to Justice Lord Justice James K. Omotosho of the Federal High Court. He probably does also understand that the Federal High Court is not the superior court to the State High Court. In any event, by the practice direction issued by the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, these things are settled. Matters that fall within jurisdictions of courts should be handled in those geographical territorial jurisdictions. For instance, the Federal High Court in River State has at least 4 judges sitting per time. For those who want Abuja to file suits in Abuja for matters that are called the River State, they know why they go there. We're not going to argue that, but by practice direction, the advice will come here, where the geography of what happened, you're complaining about, happens. So having said that, he also does not know that the judgment of the Federal High Court does not serve as a stay or does not bar judges of the High Court of the River State who share concurrent jurisdiction in the Federal High Court from hearing issues that arise. You also want to recall that in trying to apply a political solution to this crisis, this self-inflicted crisis, by the same people who are elected on the PDP platform in River State, the president intervened and brought a political solution to a constitutional issue. As you can see, it was like putting a square peg in a round hole. It didn't work. And of course, you can see, if you ask me how it did not work, I'll tell you. The same Justice Omotosho judgment that my brother is referring to, Ikenga Chibike is referring to, was one of those matters that arose from the directive in that presidential directive that all the parties will withdraw their suits in courts. The 27 lawmakers who want to hide under the armpit of the president to commit travesty of justice, infraction of the law, abuse of the constitution because they think the APC is not a shelter to hide because APC is the party of the president, did not withdraw their suits. Look at the date Justice Omotosho gave that judgment and refer back to when that meeting held in the presidency where the president
Mr. Sogbeye, I don't want to go too far. There's something I want to touch on. You said something regarding the location and the choice of courts that the complainants are actually choosing to go to. Are you saying that this has this influences the judgment or influences the rulings that come out of it, the location or the courts that are chosen? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say that.
And is that deliberate?
I didn't say so. I didn't say that I could have said so. What I just cited the practice direction issued by the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court. To the extent that when matters arise in the geographical location and there is a court in that area, in this case the Federal High Court, you need to go to another jurisdiction, another judicial division of that court, same court. It is one Federal High Court with judicial divisions across the country. So these matters happened, the locus of the matter states. So those
thank you for clarifying that. Thank you for clarifying that. Let's give Mr. Ikenga an opportunity here for a minute, please.
Mr. Chibike, you just had Mr. Eli and his response, right? If you want to reply, you have a right to reply to do that. But also, as you're giving that reply, given the court's restriction on your legislative actions by the restrained lawmakers, what plans does the APC have to ensure that its legislative agenda is still pursued within the River State House of Assembly?
Okay, a quick one. The issues I raised about Sogbeye Eli being a member of Fubara's team and whatever analysis is given is to pander to the interest of Fubara and his team. He carefully dodged it and took us on a wide goose chase, interpreting his own understanding of the cases in court and the outcome that would be. But I want to disagree completely with him because he is not the court. He is just a lawyer, like he said. He said he's been practicing law, bragging. I know that we're in the same party, and he has never won any case for this party. I know him very well. So let us concentrate on the issues at stake and stop talking about individuals. I didn't insult his person. I only raised an issue that is an interested party. That was the issue raised, and he didn't address it. Be that as it may, those who are affected by the judgment that was given, and I want to repeat, I did say clearly that most of the cases in the Rivers State High Court are procured by the governor, most of them, if not all, and that Justice Wali and his cohorts, a group of judges in Rivers State or justices, go ahead to pander to the whims and caprices of the executive in Rivers State. I said so. I did not say the judiciary. I did not say all the courts. So whatever he's saying is his business to say, and I stand to be corrected, and I want to say that Justice Wali and a few of Justice Danagogo, they are the people who the governor has procured to continue to fester this crisis. I say so. And I want to say clearly further that all those who are affected by the interlocutory order delivered by Justice Wali have taken positions to challenging such, and that, like I said, in the next few days, we will hear from a superior court what the position is. Either way, then we know what to do next.
Right. Mr. Ikenga, I was going to come to you and say something, but I'll leave that for now and turn to Mr. Eli, right? Ikenga just talked about the court's ruling and what it would be in the coming days or weeks. But what does the court declaration of the seats, being vacant mean for the political structure of the Rivers State House of Assembly? You are a legal practitioner. What does it mean for the Assembly? And how does this affect, the legislative representation of the affected constituency, And now I'm going to bring Mr. Ikenga into this conversation in that latter part of that question, because this is about democracy. This is about, governance for the people. This is about constituting that all the constituencies who are affected by this, by what is now looking like an inter-party situation, be resolved that, the dividends of democracy gets to the constituency. I'll start with you, Mr. Eli.
Thank you very much. Again, I will refuse to be drawn into dirty gutter with Ikenga. He alluded to the fact that I've not won the case for the APC, and I wanted to laugh. I wanted to choke with laughter because he cannot cite one case where the APC gave me a brief to the presenter. He has no such information anywhere. So let's limit our emotions here. Straight to the question you've asked, I thought I've answered, and let me repeat. We're dealing with purely legal and constitutional questions here, not emotions. My friends are affected by this. Our friends in the House of Assembly, we do my shared acquaintances across time who are affected by this, but the law is a law. And that's why the goddess of justice, Hermes, the symbol you see that we use as a goddess of justice, that Greek goddess is blindfolded, has the shield, has the scale on the left arm, and then the sword on the right. That goddess of justice doesn't know who is before the courts. It simply cuts according to the weights of the scales. So here we are. Those guys who are sworn into the House of Assembly on the Constitution, as it is the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That law that gives them powers to legislate for Rivers State also has pros and cons, do's and don'ts. Now, if you look at Section 109, it provides provisos in Subsection 1 where it shows you the grounds for which you can defect to another party. One of those is if your party goes to a merger during your tenure, you can defect. It goes further to say that if you take another office, for instance, you leave the House of Assembly. It goes further to say that if you defect, there must be a division in your party. That's what I'm talking about paragraph G now. Now, that paragraph of law has been interpreted by the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, in that same constitution. In the case of Ifeda Abegunde against Ondo State Assembly and others, to the fact that where you defect and there's a division, the division must be of a national character. And the Supreme Court, the justice of the Supreme Court, went further to illustrate in that judgment. I urge my brother, my friend, to go and read it. That assuming you say there's a division in Labour Party in Ondo State, they use this Federal Bank, Bank of Nigeria as an illustration and say, assuming there was a crisis in a branch of First Bank, would you say that that affects the entire First Bank nationwide? The answer is no. So assuming without conceding that there was a crisis that led to a division, which informed the defection to the APC, how be it that today, at the close of poll and as of today, 3 PDP members were elected to the Senate. Senator Dr. Palebo Panik representing me, Rivers West, Senator Onyeso for Rivers East, and Senator Barry Impigi for Rivers Southeast. They are all members of the PDP till this day. If you go to the House of Representatives, we have 13 seats. Out of the 13, APC won one through Dr. Anderson Igbix. Then one other seat was won by Labour Party by one Duru for Port Harcourt Constituency 1. And of course, the rest of the 11 were won by the PDP. All of them are still in the PDP. In fact, the minority leader of the House of Representatives, Okechinda, is a PDP member and represents the constituency. All right, federal constituency. So this is not in River State. So from whence came the imagination that the 27 of them can defect to the APC on the grounds that there was a division in their party? And here I've read some of what they've written in some of their affidavits, that there was a crisis over the office of National Secretary at the time they defected. And was saying that it's not enough, it's not sufficient, going by the precedent, the silent decisis laid down by the Supreme Court in the case of Feta Abegude and others. You cannot vary it.
Well, thank you for this example. Thank you for the example, Mr. Eli. Thank you very much. But I would like to ask both of you gentlemen this question here, and I'm hoping that you guys will desist from engaging in any crossfire while I'm asking. But I need something answered here. Now, each time the River State crisis comes up in discussion, there's always a crossfire between both parties, whether in support of the previous governor or in support of the current governor. But someone seems to be left out of the conversation every single time, the people that they're supposed to be governing. So I'm asking exactly, Mr. Ikenga, this is for you, and then you can reply, Mr. Eli, after. How exactly, especially, is the APC trying to maintain support when it comes to the issues that River State is going to currently? In your response, please be fair.
Okay, thank you. Firstly, I'd like to respond to him because the lady
I was hoping you weren't. Okay, but go on.
The lady did say that after Mr. Sogbeye had spoken that I will also address the same issue. So it's only on that issue I will take before we come to the next one. So let me say, clearly in Rivers State, I know that the governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, is not interested in democracy. He's not interested in people, in participatory democracy. He has decided to see everything that he could do possible to continuously stampede the House of Assembly. He wants to be a lone man. He doesn't want the legislative arm. He had already procured a large spectrum of the judicial arm. So it's becoming dictatorial. And having stopped this large number, quote and unquote, having stopped, quote and unquote, this large number of persons from participating and representing their people. What does that show? It shows that the government is not willing to allow the greatest number of the people to be represented. And that is what democracy is all about. So I know that they are interested in one-man show. I know that that's what the PDP in Rivers State and the governor, that's what they pursue. They are not interested. You can see the governor is interested in taking 2-3 people to pass the budget, in taking 2 or 3 people out of 32. That's most unfortunate. So the government is not interested in the representations that come with these constituents. And that's what the people are fighting. That's what people are saying, that we need to participate. The governor is busy chasing the representatives at the local government levels. He's trying to stampede them out of office. He's not interested in conducting elections. He wants to appoint people. He doesn't want proper things to be done. He doesn't want the constitution to be respected in such a way that elections are conducted before the end of the tenure of local government. He's on the other side also chasing the state house assembly members. He wants everybody to be cleared off the way so he can be a dictator. Whatever he says, he makes laws, he passes the laws, he executes the laws, as well as adjudicates when there's conflict, as he's presently doing. So these are some of the challenges that we have seen, and we are continuing to pursue and press for greater participation for the people.
Now, to the question of the public support, where does it lie, would you say? What do the people want in River State?
Okay, firstly, what the people want is good governance. What people want is transparency and accountability, delivering on goods and services that people here for. And it is completely lacking in Rivers State. The governor, this last 1 year, failed. He did not, there's no one project that he can call to himself that, look, I initiated and delivered this. Look at what Abia State is doing. And then what we're talking about is that the governor is more a politician today when elections have come and gone. He has activated the election mood and is campaigning, going from one local government to the other, under the guise of Thanksgiving. And then the governor's divisive rhetoric, the governor's ethnic leanings in his positions and decisions are worrisome. Rivers State has been one state where we have all the ethnic nationalities that make up our state who live peacefully and harmoniously all these years. But the governor's body language, his comments, his rhetoric, his the action, the languages he uses.
May I ask what his ethnic leanings are? What are these ethnic leanings? What are the ethnic leanings you're talking about here? These ethnic leanings.
The governor, we have a lot of ethnic groups that make up Rivers State who have lived harmoniously. Some people have come from other ethnic groups to become governor. But today, when you see the governor, like yesterday, if my friend at the studio, he's an German, the man at the studio, there's a German, he will see that some major leaders yesterday addressed the press, saying that this state belongs to them and nothing anybody can do about it. And that they're behind their son, where people can go to hell. That's not what it is. We have lived harmoniously. We're all friends. He's from Ijam, from Ikwere. We have been friends. We don't look at our ethnic leanings as the basis of relationship. But this governor and his team are pushing an ethnic agenda, which is creating the division, which is destabilizing the state and retarding development. And that's most unfortunate. If you ask us, what we think is that the governor, as the governor of the state, has to be governor for all the groups, has to be governor to deliver goods and services to all the sections of the state, which is what we believe in.
Mr. Eli, Mr. Chibike just made a couple of comments, and one of them was also regarding to you. You have a right to reply. Please go ahead.
Again, it keeps dragging me to non-issues. That's unfortunate. These issues are purely legal issues. And I'm going to respond to them as much as I can remember as in seriatim. First, let me begin with trying to paint the governor with a tar brush. I hope that Ikenga knows that the world is watching us. He used to speak in this man about immediate past governor Wike. He used to speak in this man about that man. Today, what's he saying now? I've taken the position from the one, everybody that knows me knows I'm being consistent. Now, as we speak here, the governor, I tell him that the last administration, they flagged off a 54-kilometer or so what ring road project. The man has continued the same speed, and that ring road project has little or not to do with the riverine or the job pass of River State. It has absolutely nothing to do with it. It's the biggest project. He has flagged off the Trans-Calabari roads. That one takes it into the heartland of the Nigeria area where I come from. But he has commissioned projects that he inherited by administration, government being a continuum, which is what the immediate past governor failed to do. Today in Lagos, which is a biological mate of River State by creation of military decree, 1967, you're running metro in Lagos, a modernized Lagos. Those are not federal projects. They were conceptualized at some point and then handed over from one generation to another, from Asiwaju down to Fashola, from Fashola to Ambode, from Ambode to Nasanwo-Olu. That's how government works. It's not what he's saying there. But here, what do we have? So he's abusing the government for not starting projects just for political sake. He's continuing from where his predecessor stopped, and he thinks he's wrong. Now, back to the issue here. He says the governor had procured judges, and I take strong exception to that. Judicial university is independent. Now, a law will say a man intends the natural consequences of his actions. Would you say that if 27 lawmakers on their own breach the constitution they sought to protect, to defend and uphold, and the rest of the state should keep quiet? The governor sought to say constitution should keep quiet, or judicial should keep quiet? Matters have gone to court, and people are in court challenging that illegality. And we cannot afford to be emotional about that. The law is a law. It's not happening for the first time in River State, in Nigeria rather. It's happened in Ebonyi State, it's happened in Cross River State. The law that applied in Ondo State for Abegu, they applied as well. And no amount of emotionalism can stop that. Now, for our party, the APC, that he thinks he's speaking for, now the question simply should be this. Why go and carry the talk of a mandate thief? Can't we contest elections on our own and win elections? Must we preach a lot because we want to gather people who do not have original on our ballots? Now, the question is simply this. Why do you bring a moral burden on your head? Because at the end of the day, if what they think is that they want to expand the base, political base in Rivers State, then allow the judges to finish their work and INEC will go ahead and conduct the elections. Represent those 27 as your candidates. If they're able to win, they earn a valid seat. Because alluding to the governor trying to clear away local government chairman, he knows as he knows his name, that the contesting for local government elections on a proper law of the House of Assembly of Rivers State, fully sitting. And the next governor came in because I'm not a member of his party, went to court, even to the federal court that has no jurisdiction in local government matters, and removed us still in court. As I speak to you, therefore, the impending judicial obedience to the NLC TC declared strike tomorrow. We'll be back in the appeal court, Port Harcourt. We'll be in the Supreme Court twice. I'm back to appeal court, Port Harcourt. We're still in the struggle. He knows. So the issue is that if a governor, for instance, if House of Assembly amends a law to extend the tenure of local government chairman, which will end in June this year, and they say the governor should obey when the court has said no, you cannot send a tenure of elected personnel, and I said so in reference to the, this back to when the Attorney General of the Federation against Attorney General Abia in 2001,
Mr. Eli.
tenure elongation for local government chairman.
Sorry to cut you. I hate to cut you there, but we're pressed for time, and I just have one more question to ask you before we go, and that is, this 25 lawmakers, do they have any legal options if they intend to challenge this injunction, or better yet, even appeal, given whatever the court ruling will be? Do they have any options?
Of course they have. There are only two options. Another court is issued against you. You either appeal against it or you obey it. There's no third option. And they have a wider ceiling upstairs, from the appeal court all the way to the Supreme Court. They have it. Nobody's denying them that fight. That right. And if you listen very carefully, my brother on the other side also said they're at the appeal court already. And then if at the appeal court they don't get what they want, they also have a further step to go at the Supreme Court. So the latitude for expression of your legal rights is quite wide. I'm not sure anybody's denying them that. And he cannot claim that also.
Wow. Well, Mr. Eli, thank you so much for that.
I want to say thank you very much, gentlemen, Mr. Ikenga and Mr. Eli, for joining us. That was indeed a very exciting session there. Well, we do hope that the crisis does not affect the people of Rivers State ongoing. Well, we hope for peace. That's from us here at News Central. Thank you very much, gentlemen.